There'd been little warning, just a low rumble in the night as the cliffs began to move. Over 3 miles of coastline have become unstable, millions of tons of clay softened and undermined by 4 times the average rainfall. The worst affected area is BLACKGANG Chine. Here the road is buckled as if by an earthquake, cars tossed aside, cliff-top cottages crumbling into a chasm. Alex DeBell was freed from his house as it began to break up around him.
There were some creaks and grains from outside. I really put that down a little bit to the wind. But then the sort of floor came up in sort of pyramidal fashion, and we decided discretion was better part of valour, and I sort of phoned my father to come and get it.
And then we can keep a measurement between those 2 points there.
As engineers began monitoring the progress of the slip, householders hurried to remove what furniture and belongings they could. Salvaging others was simply too dangerous.
Well, I won't be able to get anything out. It was all furnished in Victorian style and had lots of lovely things of my mother's.
Exposed as it is, this coastline is prone to cliff falls, but worried engineers are warning that BLACKGANG Chine may be particularly vulnerable.
Well, there have been a number of major landslips historically at BLACKGANG, particularly the Great Cliff Fall, which severed this road which used to run from BLACKGANG through to Knighton. That was in 1928. But one of the last major incidents was in 1976.
The cliff's given its own warnings to this group of residents below the slip, but tonight they're still refusing to move.
It's hard enough finding somewhere to live, isn't it? Really. I've moved around a bit too much recently, so I'd like to stay here if I could.
This hillside is continuing to move at the rate of several inches an hour. More heavy rain could cause further and more widespread damage. Robert Hall, News at 10 at BLACKGANG Chine on the Isle of Wight.
That's right, yes.
MP Barry Field seeing what the ravages of nature have done to his Isle of Wight constituency. 500,000 tonnes of earth and rock is still on the move at the BLACKGANG Chine beauty spot. 2 homes have already fallen victim to the landslide, and it's feared that more will follow.
It's definitely one of the biggest landslips the island's seen, probably this century, I would think. And sadly, I don't think the movement's finished yet.
Council engineers are keeping a constant check on how much the earth is moving. Huge cracks are still appearing, and warnings are out that the whole area is unstable and potentially dangerous. This is the landslip that's cut off the tiny community on the cliff face at South View. And despite warnings from council officials and a geologist, they still say they're determined to stay put. There are now just 6 people here practicing their own brand of defiant back-to-basics existence.
The councilman came down and he just gave us this and just advised us that we should go. This is our own and we just like to stare at it.
They don't understand us. We know the land, you know. We know whether it's falling. We're not stupid enough to stay here and fall into the sea.
10 miles of coastline is now affected by landslides. At Totland Bay on the western end of the island, another family have been forced to abandon their clifftop home. But next door, an elderly lady has so far refused to be frightened away by the elements. Nigel Burwood, ITN, on the Isle of Wight.